Let's go from a really bad politician to a really great politician. Ron DeSantis vows action on critical race theory. If there's going to be one governor around the United States, somebody who has significant power, I would put my trust behind Ron DeSantis at this point. Greg Abbott's really good, but at the same time, he also has those predilections that led them to be shutting down Texas for a significant part of time, and nobody could really trust anybody who kept their state open like Kristi Noem. I'm not forgetting your fucking little back down when it comes to transgender sports. And then Brian Kemp, who was the first governor to reopen after a small and short brief lockdown. I wouldn't trust you as far as I can throw you, pal. But Ron DeSantis, on the other hand, I'd put my faith behind somebody who hasn't really disappointed me yet. Ron DeSantis on Friday vowed to take action against left-wing efforts to advance critical race theory, a divisive method of teaching focus on race, seeing everything through just a worthless scope. Because honestly, man, I just finished Black Rednecks and White Liberals. Terrific read. I don't think I'm the first person to make that observation, but hopefully I'm not the last either. It makes me look forward to be reading more works by Thomas Sowell, and boy does it just point out facts that this whole legacy of slavery, viewing everything through a scope of race, truly is worthless. All you need to do is, if you're one of those people, just go back and take a look at history and realize that it's learned traditions from a long fucking time ago that have led the United States to find itself in this current situation, mostly because the people who are in charge and the people, not so much the elected officials, they're more or less just the patsies and the little pawns that are being used by the people in the dark rooms, in the gray suits, the deep state, as it were. I don't like to use those kind of nebulous terms, but the unelected officials that have been around for literally ever, in charge of these institutions that make all the calls, pull all the strings, those are the guys that use these divisive tactics to continue to just allow the plebs out there to just continue to bicker amongst each other, never really solve any problems. But with that background out of the way, we can just forge ahead, explaining it is actually offensive to ask taxpayers to fund teaching kids to hate their country and hate each other. Exactly. You should be focusing on things that will help you, okay? The STEM fields: science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, okay? Language basics, writing, reading, retention, and life skills, okay? That's why, if you guys weren't paying attention, this was a while back, but Alberta decided to update the curriculum to include different life skills. We haven't seen it implemented yet, but that's important because, oh my God, it was one of the newer programs, and if I may just give a personal anecdote for a minute, that was coming through. I forget exactly what it was called, but you had to take it in order to qualify for your graduation in high school. And it was a sort of life skills course. It was very bare bones, okay? But it was a good start. It was like 2 or 3 years old. I graduated high school in 2008, just for a point of reference. Don't remember anything about it, but I remembered that there was some kind of a life skills course that was needed. Now, everybody should know how to do their taxes. Everybody should know the basics of finances, okay? Saving for the future, how to budget. You should know how to do all this kind of basic stuff to set yourself up for success. What successful people do? Learn how to schedule. Learn how to follow a routine every day. Things that the most successful authors, the most successful speakers that are out there right now that are just teaching, that is basic common sense stuff that I came across, 10 years after I left high school? Well, maybe not that long, but still, stuff that I picked up afterwards that should have known for the longest time. Stuff that your parents would teach you. Stuff that should just be reinforced throughout all of school, okay? Not shit like, your ancestors might have done something to my ancestors because history. Meanwhile, if somebody was to make that claim against me with my heritage of being Native, Ukrainian, Scottish, and Irish, if you know anything about history, I've been oppressed along all 4 of those fucking historic demographics. But then you could just wipe that away with, he's white. Okay, I guess, whatever. I only like to evoke that stuff just to give it a little bit of a context that, if we're going to play this identity politics bingo, I got a pretty good card myself, so I just can't improve it that much because I don't want to suck a dick. Speaking to reporters in Pensacola on Friday, where he signed tax holidays into law, DeSantis expressed his vehement opposition to critical race theory and vowed it will not be embraced in the Sunshine State, which is looking ever more like the beacon of freedom. The Florida Board of Education, is meeting, and they are addressing this. And I told them they need to address this, and we've got to do it. God, he's starting to read more and more like Trump as the days go on. I mean, first of all, it's offensive. We're celebrating tax savings. It's offensive that the taxpayers, that they would be asked to fund critical race theory, DeSantis said, that would be asked to fund teaching kids to hate their country and to hate each other. The Republican governor also highlighted the fundamental flaws in critical race theory, explaining it is based on false history. Very much so. The basis of this is all just a lie and a mistelling of history. It's also based on the false history where we look back and denigrate the founding fathers, denigrate the American Revolution, doing all these different things, and the very liberal historians say is not supported by facts, he explained, stating the Constitution needs to be brought back into the classroom. Yeah, exactly. And it is. The center, at least one of the most prominent figures in the critical race theory right now, is basing everything, all their teachings, on the 1619 Project. It's a lie. We've seen the retraction, quasi-retraction from the New York Times. Many people have torn it apart as being just the work of fiction that it is, okay? If people want to live their life as a fucking Jedi and take that up as a religion, that's cool. Just don't tell me that it's based in anything. If you want to tell me that it's super cool that you're a Hufflepuff, that's nice. Tell me more about how many cats you have. But if you want to try to base your entire life off of writing a fiction book and you try to spin yourself into being some sort of a intellectual, yeah, it'll only get you so far. And guess what? It almost got the author of that incredibly racist propaganda piece, almost got her tenured at a really prominent university, which is frightening in and of itself. But unfortunately, it fell right flat on its fat face. UNC will no longer offer 1619 Project lead writer Nikole Hannah-Jones a tenured position. Oh man, looks like your grift can only get you so far. University of North Carolina has backed down from authoring New York Times journalist. Or is that opinion writer? I forget. What did the rebuttal to James O'Keefe's lawsuit prove? Oh yeah, right. They don't believe anything that they publish. A tenured teaching position, instead offering her a 5-year term. Guess what? Prove your fucking merit and see if you're still relevant in 2026, you fucking hack. Chapel Hill Hussman School of Journalism and Media had initially planned to offer Hannah-Jones, who graduated from the university, a tenured professorship as its Knight Chair in Race and Investigative Journalism. Ugh, what a terrible fucking mixture of dying vocations. The university has since changed plans and will offer her a fixed 5-year term as professor of the practice beginning July 1st. And guess what? Her sycophants cry. We got the Huffington Post. UNC faculty outraged that the 1619 Project creator Nikole Hannah-Jones is not tenured. So you know that 5-year fixed term that she's going to be getting? I'd imagine that this is probably going to go ahead and get updated to tenure very soon, because you have all of the screeching harpies at UNC just knocking down the president's door to make sure that this injustice is overturned. And UNC eventually, I'd imagine, here's another hot take into the future. You know, the fact that UNC has a very, very prominent athletics program. And what's the nickname of their teams? What are their teams called? The Tar Heels? Yeah, that won't be a thing by 2026. I will goddamn guarantee it. Faculty members of the University of North Carolina Hussman School of Journalism and Media have expressed their dismay that Nikole Hannah-Jones, the Pulitzer Prize, just goes to show you that any of these fucking awards that are down, they're all corrupt. Every single one of them. To create the 1619 Project was not given a tenured position at a university. Make the concession that she can go ahead and have her tenure, but then at the same time you have to hire somebody who believes in flat earth to teach geography. If we're gonna get fucking buck wild, let's go crazy, son. 40 members of Hussman School faculty released a statement on Medium. Only the most prestigious of outlets. on Wednesday, writing that they are stunned at the failure to award Hannah-Jones a tenured position. They called the decision concerning and disheartening. Oh, so they used the strongest of language. Their statement received over 50 additional signatures from professors and PhD candidates at other UNC schools. Yeah, I can see this getting walked back as early as next week. I'd imagine probably something by the beginning of the next term. UNC announced last month that Hannah-Jones would be joining the school as a Knight Chair in Race and Investigative Journalism in July. Karen Rundlet, this bitch, the journalism director at the Knight Foundation, said that the announcement that Knight Chairs are highly respected news leaders. Anybody who, oh my God, graduates from a journalism school in the year 2020, in current year, I would never call them highly respected or news leaders. Call them empty heads and propagandists who bring insight about journalism and support elevating it in the academy. But the faculty members at the school are now questioning why the university withheld tenure upon a Hannah-Jones appointment, noting that the faculty in the journalism school had widely supported the New York Times Magazine reporter receiving a tenured position. Oh, because they read it and checked the sources and realized that it all came up false. So, sucks to suck. Hopefully they don't back down on this, but it is a university after all, and it always tends to favor one direction of things. So, yeah. Worst case scenario, she's around for another 5 years. Best case scenario, nobody goes to journalism school at UNC. That'd be a start. Now we got to go to the Great White North because we got some fucking problems up here, guys. If you'd like to stick around for it, that'd be great, because it's a nice little preview as to what you can expect going into the future, because it was something that I foreseen when Justin Trudeau first got elected. It was emblematic of what was happening in the United States, and we've ratcheted it up to 11, and it's starting to seep down there. So if you'd like to stick around, this will be up here very, very shortly. I thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.